Well, I think that Zach Pop play, honest to God, sums up the Blue Jays season so far.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We have Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode of Locked On Blue Jays is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today. I'm Braden Iwasco. He's Carter First. You can find us on Twitter, Braden5Iwasco. Carter First, too, as well, on Instagram and TikTok at Locked On Blue Jays as well. If you're new here on YouTube, drop a subscription. It helps us out. Keeps us at the top of your guys' page. We say it all the time. A lot of you guys we notice aren't subscribed. It really would help. And if you're listening everywhere else, we really appreciate it. Make sure you guys do follow us on Twitter. I've been doing trying to do a little bit more up-to-date stuff on the Twitter sort of as the days sort of go on here through this Blue Jays season. A lot of stuff to talk about today, Carter. We're going to get into the frustration around this game to start things off. Then, I hate to say this, but in the second segment, we're going to compare what this bullpen looks like today compared to what it looked like in 2021, because I hate to say it, it's close, Carter. It's close and it's bad. And then, of course, segment 3, we got a lot of like Blue Jays news stuff as well. We might hit in the second segment a little bit in the first, maybe a little bit in the third. And then, of course, we got to talk about, I guess, this team looking for a split. So we'll get to that in the third segment. Carter, let's start things off with today's game. Just kills me a little bit every time we watch this team just not be able to produce. His bullpen was bad. Yusei Kikuchi, great day from him. I really was happy with what he was looking like. And I want to start off on 2 plays, Carter, before I send it to you. The Zach Pop play that sort of burst the balloon, as they said on the Sportsnet broadcast, which I like that analogy. It was the play that you know obviously was an error on Zach Pop, and it started the momentum. It was the first rock to slide down the avalanche or whatever, the rock slide or whatever you want to call it. Not a great play. I don't know. You play baseball your whole life. If you isn't a pitcher, you're probably playing a little bit infield, a little bit outfield your whole life, here and there, and you're not able to make that play. It's just ridiculous to me. It was horrible. And then, of course, the Blue Jays end up, giving up 7 more runs or whatever it is, and it's game over. Then the Bo Bichette swing. I get it. He's frustrated. He's upset, and he's, in a mood. That's a swing. It's a bad swing, but it's a swing. He gets hit by the ball. The major thing out of all sort of the culmination of today that I wanted to go over, you see Vlad go in after his last at-bat into the dugout, and he's slamming his bat and his helmet. And I'm like, okay, well, it's good to see a little bit of emotion out of him. At least they're feeling the frustration. And then Bo Bichette is arguing with the umpire on the swing call. Even in the dugout, he's doing that, and he's throwing his gloves and bats. And I get it. I think that they're probably feeling the same way we are. It's just frustration. It's nothing going their way. And as much as that I want to blame the bullpen, Carter, for this outing or some of these games, you can't score 2 runs like we always say. You can't score 2 runs and win a baseball game. It's just not going to work. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not really complaining because I think I'm almost past complaining. It's more just frustration now. Are you sort of in the same boat as me?
I guess I'm complaining a little bit as well, just because, this team has the 8th highest payroll in baseball. You got to expect that they're at least going to be competing down the stretch for a playoff spot, but that definitely is not where we're at today. This is just, again, another typical Toronto Blue Jays game. You don't get the offense, you get 2 runs. The bullpen, I blame this more on the bullpen because your offense leaves you in a spot where you do have a chance to still win the game. You're in the 6th inning. It's a 2-2 ball game. Yeah, you want more offense, but again, you still have 4 innings left of offense. So you still can score runs here. And then Zach Pop, that play was, for me, the second worst play of the entire season. The only one that tops it is when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just missed the baseball. Not sure how you do that. But this is a play that, like, an 8-year-old pitcher can make. And all Zach Pop does here is he just picks his head up before the ball gets into his glove. It hits his front hand. Then he starts freaking out. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Misses the pickup. And then you get the onslaught after that. And Zach Pop came in for Yusei Kikuchi in the 5th inning and looked really good. I think he threw like 4 pitches in that inning. So with Zach Pop, it's just the bullpen blunders, man. It's one of those things. You're at the point where it's 7-2, 8-2 in a baseball game. That takes your offense out of it. It takes everyone out of the baseball game. Like as we're watching that, we don't think the Blue Jays have a chance to come back from 6 runs in the 6th inning. There's just no way. Yeah, Yusei Kikuchi, I'll start with that, I guess. Looked really good. He's topping on his fastball at 99. Just Yordan Alvarez, just another great day. That guy is absolutely ridiculous. I think there was that pitch again to Yordan wasn't even that bad. It was a little bit elevated, I guess, more in the middle of the plate, but it wasn't the inside part. He just drives it into right field off the foul pole. My biggest thing is the Toronto Blue Jays don't have offensive firepower. They don't have an offensive guy that's like, oh my God, this guy's up to the plate. I'm really scared he's going to do damage. And a lot of these other teams do. Oh, sorry, I'm still kind of recovering off of a little bit of a sickness here. We're getting closer to the end of it, but I'm going to kind of battle through this podcast over here. But you look at the Baltimore Orioles. You look at Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. Those two come up to the plate. Ryan Mountcastle, throw him in there too. You're like, oh my God, something bad's going to happen here. Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, you look over there. Rafael Devers, a guy on the Boston Red Sox. We said he was coming up in those series. I'm like, oh my God. You look at the Cleveland Guardians. They have Jose Ramirez. And Vladdy is close to these guys. But again, with the kind of lack of home run power up until recently, as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was the AL, I think MVP of the week, or he won the best hitter. I can't remember what the award's called.
Yeah, and MVP of the week for hitters.
MVP of the week, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think it was 5-6 home runs in eight games. So on that week, it might have been 5 only home runs, but only 5 in a week. Yeah, like that is we're definitely going to take that every day of the week. Yeah, just looking at the bullpen, Jose Cuas. I know he was the one that they moved up for Tim Meza here, doing his best Tim Meza impression. This guy threw 3 pitches. One was a single to Yainer Diaz, and then hit by pitch, get out of the game. That was it. That was Jose Cuas. That's all he did for the Toronto Blue Jays. Got no outs in 3 pitches and had 3 batters come to the plate. So at least they had the walk for Yordan count for him as well. So I guess he technically faced 4 batters, but then you throw that onto his slate, and that's another walk technically for Jose Cuas. So again, not a great outing from him. Brendan Little comes in, does okay, and then Bowden Francis, like not a great inning in the bottom of the 9th or the top of the 8th either. So, or maybe it was the bottom of the 9th. Again,
Top 8, yeah.
Top 8, there you go. With that though, like the bullpen is just simply not good enough. But again, you go back to the Toronto Blue Jays, they scored 2 runs. So I don't know. You can't blame the bullpen entirely. You can't blame the offense entirely, but you got to blame somebody. It's definitely not Yusei Kikuchi. So I'm probably putting like 75-80% of this on the bullpen, and then the 20% of it on the offense. Because just looking at the offense as well, like they get 5 hits. Again, you look at the 6th inning, the game's pretty much over. Let's be honest at that point. You do need more offense, but this bullpen has just been horrendously bad, especially as of late.
Yeah, just if we look at this team as a whole, I mean, things just aren't going their way. I don't even want to say it's not going their way, because that takes the blame off of them. This is just terrible baseball. It's an overall, besides the starting pitching most days, it's pretty good. But for the rest of the team, it is pretty bad baseball. I mean, it was good to see Dalton Varsho pick up 2 hits today. Vlad obviously 1 for 4. Bo 1 for 3. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, is that what we're celebrating? I know we always say we don't want to take the little victories, and then we did that yesterday, obviously, with the win, or 2 days ago now, I guess, or whatever. I can't remember exactly in my head how this whole week has played out. It's been just a mind boggle a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm going to throw this in here. Congrats, Vlad, on he is first in All-Star voting. So he will be representing the Toronto Blue Jays at the All-Star game, which is good to see. And these are the little wins that we have to take, I guess. If I was a betting man, Vlad might be one of 2 guys in. I don't know if they've released the starting pitchers yet, but I would hope that Jose Barrios is in there. I don't necessarily know if that is going to happen. I haven't seen anything on that. There's just not a lot of good stuff to take away from this. And I've been sort of chatting with a couple of you guys just through Twitter and sort of everything else. And maybe we'll do a deep dive. If you guys want to shoot me a tweet, maybe we'll do like a little bit of a mailbag for tomorrow. I don't really know, because sometimes, we have the same perspective. We're watching these games and we sort of come to the same conclusion some days. So getting some of your guys' input is definitely good. Leave us a comment if you want, or shoot me a tweet on there, and I'll definitely get back to you guys. I always love doing that. But Carter, I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. Jose Cuas was terrible. The bullpen was terrible. The offense wasn't good. I don't know. That's honestly where I'm about to leave this game because there's not much else we can really say that's going to be anything profound.
Well, we said for Tuesday's game that that's a game that they had to win. They threw their best 3 relievers, and I kind of said, what do you think is going to happen for the next game? They're not going to have their strong relievers. This team only has 2 relievers that I trust right now. So again, you're looking at all the relievers that they threw today. It was everyone that was left, and it went horribly wrong. Couldn't probably have went worse for this Toronto Blue Jays bullpen. Yes, it's not great at all. One thing I guess I'll get into here is George Springer was back at the top of the lineup. I don't love it. I'm not going to lie. I know he's been hot, whatever it is, been one of the best hitters in the major leagues over the last week. But like looking at this lineup, who else do you put there? Like it's one of those things that there's just nobody left. IKF obviously is injured. George Springer is there right now. Spencer Horwitz has not been good recently. I'll go into his stats after I give you an opportunity to talk about the lineup here. Bo Bichette, obviously no secret. Dalton Varsho, I went over last episode. He's hitting like 100 in his last 2 weeks of baseball. Dave Schneider hasn't been good. Like there's nobody to put there. So George Springer, you kind of forced your hand, I guess. John Schneider, I can't really give him too much fault here because is nobody else who I want to have at bats on this team other than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Really. Maybe Justin Turner's another guy will be in the 2 spot right now. But just overall with this lineup, do you give John Schneider any you going to give him any grief for the lineup you put out for this game?
No, I can't. I can't do it anymore. I mean, before it was different, right? When Davis Schneider's playing well and you're not moving him up, I have reason to say something. But no one is hitting good enough at this point for me to justifiably say that they should be hitting above George Springer right now. We always talk riding the hot hand. That's what John Schneider's doing. So I can't overly fault him for that right now. There's nobody better, which is just sad to say, but there's nobody better right now. So that is your only option. Obviously, I mean, this team is just overly depleted. The entire team is depleted. Justin Turner's on parental leave. Danny Jansen, I believe, is also on parental leave or whatever it's called. Maternity. I don't know what that one's called.
Paternity leave.
Okay, paternity. Good. So I was close enough.
So yeah, it was kind of in the middle of both what you were trying to say there. But yeah, congrats on with Danny Jansen and Justin Turner on the children. Justin Turner has not had his son, daughter. I'm not sure what it is for Justin Turner. I think Danny Jansen had a daughter. So congratulations to him. I mean, it's probably a nice little getaway from Toronto Blue Jays baseball. I mean, if we were in a different spot of the year, you'd be like, oh, it's kind of a tough time to have a baby. But honestly, like, it's good for him. Like, I can't say anything bad about it, especially now. The Toronto Blue Jays are in a better situation. Would like to have Danny Jansen's bat at the plate, same with Justin Turner. But yeah, with these guys just not being available, there's really no one else to go to. But yeah, congratulations to them. I'll just quickly go over Spencer Horwitz's stats in the last 7 games here. Hitting 150 at 227 on base percentage, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. He's got a home run. Obviously, that was in Tuesday's ball game. But yeah, it's a guy that you pulled up from AAA. He's kind of making his first big stint in the major leagues. Like, this isn't a regular thing to see this many AAA guys come up and have this big of an impact immediately for just any major league club. You look at Jackson Holliday, the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. Look what he did with the Baltimore Orioles. Got sent right back down in a very short stint because he is young and he hasn't had a lot of experience in the major leagues. Spencer Horwitz, again, different situation. He's 26 years old. But not a guy that you're going to be able to pull up. Just pretty much any prospect in general. You're not going to be able to pull these guys up. And they're not supposed to hit 2 in the lineup. They're not supposed to be one of the best hitters on your team. They're supposed to be a supplementary hitter, a guy that's going to be probably 6, 7, 8, a guy that can help bring up the offense in little ways, a guy that will supplement your superstars on the team. But he's been thrown into a role where he's had to produce heavily for this Toronto Blue Jays team to succeed. And that hasn't really worked for this offense, obviously, so far down the stretch. Yeah, the only one that I can be like confident when it comes to the plate is even George Springer right now. It's not, I know some people might be really high on him. Some people might be like, oh, I saw what he did for the first 70 games. I'm probably leaning towards I saw what he did for the first 70 games sort of thing. I still don't necessarily believe in George Springer. Yes, what he's been doing recently has been really good. And I want him to continue. I want him to be a strong hitter for this Toronto Blue Jays team. And again, not a bad day today. I'm not going to complain about that from George Springer. You need more offense from the entirety of the lineup. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the only one that's hitting right now, and he's the only all-star on this team for a reason because a lot of these other players aren't even playing that good. Jose Barrios, one guy that you said could be in the all-star game. I sort of agreed with you before, but in his last 7 games, he's a 4.75 ERA. Hasn't really been the greatest either. So, again, this is more of the same old for the Toronto Blue Jays. You get a good starting outing. He gives you a chance to win. You don't get any offense, and now the bullpen is almost becoming a bigger factor for me than the offense is. I think I'm kind of being a little bit of a hypocrite about this, but I think I'm just changing my opinions because of how bad this bullpen is. And now you're looking at this bullpen stuff, whereas we'll get into a lot more in the second segment. Jordan Romano is out for 6 more weeks, as we'll kind of go into more, but that's pretty much, that's the best case scenario. He's back in 6 weeks. Erik Swanson's gone. Yimi Garcia might be back, but you don't have any reinforcements. There's 2 bullpen arms that I trust right now. You'll get 1 more back in Yimi Garcia, but other than that, you can't have a 3-man bullpen trying to carry you to a huge winning streak that this Toronto Blue Jays team is going to need to make the playoffs. So not much has changed for me. Again, you try to get a series split for today's game, but series splits don't do anything. You're keeping yourself at 7 games below 500. It's not going to get you into the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't know if you can be frustrated or disappointed. Well, you can definitely be frustrated. You can definitely be disappointed, but I can't say it's like I don't see this coming when the Toronto Blue Jays games happen.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not as infuriated or blown away, shocked, whatever, pissed, I guess, if you want to say it. I'm not really any of those things. I think frustrated is the right word, because I can't be mad. I can't be upset anymore, because this is exactly what we expected. I think frustrated is the right word, because it's just, another one. But as you said, we talked about some of the injuries. We talked about some of the guys being away. We got a couple more updates to give you. Plus, we want to get into sort of what the bullpen looks like now compared to 2021, just because we got to give you guys a little bit of an insight into how bad they are right now. And then, of course, we still have, looking at the last game of this series, a couple other things in the third segment. So we'll take a quick break and be right back with those.
Spring training has sprung, and that means spring cleaning. Whether that means stocking up on cleaning supplies or swapping out your winter clothes for new spring clothes, make sure you're using Ibotta and get real cash back with every purchase. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, buy that flight you've been eyeing, or that game you've been dying to go to, or that fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, just add your shop offers in the app, upload your receipt, and you can get real cash. You can cash out to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. Join the over 50 million savers to earn cash back every time you shop over 2,700 brands and retailers, including Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB.
All right, so we're back, Carter. This bullpen has been terrible. I don't know how many more days that we can continue to say this without being, I don't want to say hypocritical, I guess, annoying with it at this point. But that's where we are. This bullpen is bad. I'm going to throw it to you to explain exactly how bad this bullpen is.
Yeah, I didn't know where to start with how bad this bullpen was, because there's so many bad stats for this entirety of the bullpen. They're pretty much bottom 5 in every single stat. Like, just looking at bullpen ERAs here, like, you got Chad Green at a 1.37. He's been really good, obviously. Trevor Richards has 37 games played, 244 earned run average. Again, another guy that's been really good. Yimi Garcia has been really good. This is my Michael Jordan flu game, except I'm not really producing like my best game of all time here. That's kind of how I feel in this podcast, but we're going to keep battling it out here. Henny Cabrera at a 4.18, Ryan Burr, a 4.91, Nate Pearson, 5.03, Brennan Little, 5.17, Zach Pop, 5.55, Erik Swanson, 9.22, if I want to bring that one up. There's so many bad ERAs on this team right now. And just kind of comparing it to 2021, because one thing I remember about 2021 is the bullpen was not very good. Fortunately, though, for us, when we were watching these games, Vladdy was having one of the best, the best season of his career. We had Marcus Semien hitting over 40 home runs. I think there were 7 players on this team that hit over 20 home runs. We'll be lucky if we get 3 of them maybe this season. So obviously a big difference in rosters with that. But this bullpen, 2021 was tough because the offense would score 8 runs and you might lose that game 9-8. But looking at some of these players, you got Jordan Romano as your closer. Right now, I guess you could say Chad Green's your closer. Jordan Romano, a 2.14 ERA. Obviously, it's a smaller sample size than the 2021 roster as we are halfway through the year. Tim Meza was pretty much the setup guy, or my boy, the guy I've been bringing up recently. It's not actually my boy. I hated watching him, especially in 2022. Adam Simber, a 1.69 ERA. The next closest on our team right now, 2024 team, is Trevor Richards at that 2.44 ERA. Then you have Yimi Garcia at 2.57. And then I guess that would throw me to Tim Meza. Again, Tim Meza not on the team anymore at 3.4 ERA. Trent Thornton and Rafael Dolis. Rafael Dolis is a word we haven't, I don't think, said on this podcast up to this date, because, I mean, why would I? Because he was not good on that team at all. These are two guys that the Toronto Blue Jays team really relied on. Trevor Richards back in 2021 was also pretty good with 3.31 ERA. But then there's guys like Tyler Chatwood was on this bullpen roster. Taylor Saucedo, who's been a very up and down, or had a very up and down major league career. Julian Merriweather's another guy. David Phelps, who actually was not that bad. Brad Hand pitched for this team. Tanner Roque pitched for this team. Just like, oh my goodness. Anthony Castro is another one. Anthony Kay is another one. Like, there's so many names on that bullpen team that just weren't good. But then, yeah, you look at this team. You got Ryan Burr, Brendan Little, Henny Cabrera. There's a lot of other guys like Brendan Eisert pitched for this team. There's a bunch of them. It's just ridiculous. And looking at this bullpen right now, I think I'd rather have, just from the names I raffled off there, I think I'd almost rather have the 2021 bullpen, believe it or not. Again, there is a lot of other things you got to consider with Eric Swanson falling off the face of the earth. Jordan Romano just not being here for a little while, obviously, coming up. But these two bullpens, it's definitely a debate on which bullpen you would rather have. I think the easy answer, the cop-out answer would be I'd rather have 2021, because at least that gives you good vibes. That brings you back to the 2021 offense. Like, Vladdy was raking even better than he was right now. Teoscar Hernandez on that team, Lourdes Gurriel, Randall Grichuk was still kicking around, hitting 20 home runs that season. Just an insane offensive roster. Unfortunately, for the 2024 Blue Jays, it's a real debate that could honestly go either way. So leave your thoughts in the comment section, whether you'd have the 2024 or 2021 bullpen for the Toronto Blue Jays in those specific years. But Braden, if you had to pick, I guess I'll leave it at this. You taking the 2024 bullpen led by Trevor Richards, Chad Green, and Yimi Garcia, or you're taking the one kind of led by Adam Simber, who actually was pretty good in that season before he fell off. Jordan Romano was unbelievable that year. Tim Meza, Anthony Kay, just all of these sort of guys that rounded off that 2021 bullpen.
It's a hard choice. The problem I have right now is this bullpen is so depleted. There is nothing there. So in that sense, if I have to look at it as a whole, I guess I'm going to go the 2021. I think when all these guys come back, hopefully healthy, maybe my mind will switch up and I'll come back to this team, because man, was that 2021 bullpen bad, but so is this one. So it's definitely a tough choice, but as of right now with all the injuries, I would have to say the 2021, just because you have a few more options. Just going off the Jordan Romano stuff, I'll sort of get into it a little bit here just quickly, just to sort of tell you guys and let you guys know what's going on. So Jordan Romano had arthroscopic surgery, I think is pretty close.
Man, you love taking the big words on this podcast.
Ones that,
like, hey, I got this one. Oh no, I gotta read that. Are you kidding me?
Hey, I'm in radio for a reason. Okay, I don't need to go into no spelling bees or anything.
When you have to read big words, like when Kevin Kiermaier comes up to the plate in a big situation, I'm just like, oh no, I know what's going to happen here, and it's not going to go well.
I think that was okay.
That was definitely one of your better attempts at it, but it's just, one of those things that I find funny that every single time it kind of pops up on this podcast here.
Well, and to be honest with you, I'm about to say one that's even tougher. So he's going for surgery on his right elbow to repair an impingement. I believe it's how it's said.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Word, so nice. He's down from throwing for at least 6 weeks, and that's Caitlin McGrath tweeting about what John Schneider said about Jordan Romano. So obviously, source that we love. We had Caitlin McGrath on this podcast, so she's a good source. Go follow her on Twitter as well. She'll put out some updates too. But of course, like I said, follow me on Twitter. I try to keep up to date with everything and get it out as quickly as I can on there as well. Not having Jordan Romano for that long sucks. It is just hard. It is tough to deal with, especially I think looking back over the past bunch of seasons and him being good. This year, of course, not as much, but maybe that this injury was a little bit there all the time. Maybe it wasn't a big thing, but maybe it turned into something bigger. And I'm not making excuses, but that's definitely a possibility when you see what he's had to go through now. I tend it off, Carter. For me, this bullpen just sucks. It's tough to watch. They blow games, and then they'll have those good days. It's sort of like the offense, where they will have the good day where they're able to go out and shut the door. But it's so inconsistent that it's very tough to hang your hat on.
See, I just want to quickly go back to this 2021-2024 thing, and I'm going to make a quick mini game for this podcast again. So I'm just going to read your names, and then you got to say if the 2021 pitcher or the 2024 pitcher has a better or worse ERA. So I think one that I want to start off of, just from looking at this, is Nate Pearson, both years. 2021 Nate Pearson, better ERA, or the 2024 Nate Pearson. So I'll give it to you for that one.
God, I want to say the 2024, but I feel like you're throwing me a curveball here.
So you're going 2024, locking it in?
Yeah.
Nate Pearson in 2024, a 5.03 ERA. Nate Pearson in 2021, a 4.20 ERA. So Nate Pearson has actually gotten worse, I guess, in accounts for ERA in that category. One that I'm just going to kind of throw in here. This one isn't as important to me, but Jose Barrios, same thing. 2021 Jose Barrios or 2024 Jose Barrios.
Don't you dare do this to me. Don't you dare do this to me. I'm going 2024 again, and I know you're going to smack me in the face with it.
So 3.66 I have for 2024 and 3.58 in 2021. So that officially makes you 0 for 2. So one more, I'm going to two more here. Trent Thornton, just one of the greatest to ever do it, honestly, for the Toronto Blue Jays. That is obviously the 2021 version. I'm going to relate this guy. Let's go Henny Cabrera. I think that one might be an interesting one. I don't have it pulled up in front of my face yet, but I know what Trent Thornton's is off the top of my head. So Henny Cabrera or Trent Thornton in terms of ERA.
Trent Thornton, baby. Trent Thornton.
Henny Cabrera, 4.18 ERA. Trent Thornton, 4.78. You are officially 0 for 3. Congratulations. And I'll give you one more so you can try to figure this one out. I'll throw it to here. Julian Merriweather, a guy that you should know pretty well. A guy, obviously, know if you were watching Toronto Blue Jays baseball throughout the last few years, you would know Julian Merriweather as well. Hopefully, Braden can get at least one here. I'll try to make it at least sort of close. I'll go with, let's just go with Zach Pop. Go with Zach Pop.
Give me Julian Merriweather.
And he gets one. He finally gets one. Finally, Julian Merriweather. Zach Pop is a 5.55. And I think that's before today's game. So it's only going to get worse for Zach Pop. Julian Merriweather, a 4.85. But yeah, like there's a lot of bullpen arms. Like Tyler Saucedo, I think had like a 4.7. That's better than a lot of arms on this Toronto Blue Jays bullpen right now. It's better than Brendan Little, better than Jordan Romano, better than Eric Swanson. Again, you go into the season thinking that. If I would have said, hey, like Eric Swanson's going to have a worse ERA than Trent Thornton did in 2021, you're probably going to slap me in the face and be like, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. Well, that's here we are. That's where we're at with the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen in 2024. It is up for debate. These two bullpens are very similar. And a huge difference is this offense is so terrible this year. 2021, one of the best offenses in the MLB. So this is kind of where we're at with the Toronto Blue Jays. Not a lot of reinforcements coming in. As I said, Jose Cuas is one of the guys you're like, oh, maybe he can do something. No, he throws 3 pitches and gives up 2. I guess technically he had 3 walks with 1 intentional, 2 hit by pitches and a single. Just not what you want, obviously. That's just the easiest way to say it. That's just not going to play for the Toronto Blue Jays. Like, I honestly think, and I sometimes, like, I just throw this out there. It's like, it's just funny. But I honestly think I could do better than Jose Cuas did in those pitches. Because if I just hit 3 batters, I do better than him automatically. At least if I can walk them, maybe I can let the bullpen arms warm up for a little bit longer. Like, there's a bunch of things I could do in that situation. Just a crazy spot that we're in with this Toronto Blue Jays franchise as a whole on what is today, July 3rd, July 4th, as this is coming out. I guess happy birthday to Justin Powers and happy birthday to America. We'll throw out for July 4th coming up here.
Pop some champagne for that guy.
But yeah, this is how it is in Toronto Blue Jays land. We're comparing to the 2021 bullpen, not the offense, the bullpen in 2024. Absolute insane stuff coming from the Toronto Blue Jays baseball team this season.
Oh man, it's painful. And yeah, happy birthday, Justin. He's away, I believe, on a work thing for a bunch of weeks.
He's actually in Chris Bassett, believe it or not. Just take that how you want it to.
Bassett.
He's in, maybe Chris Bassett's in him. I don't know. But yeah, we'll kind of leave it at that. JP loves Chris Bassett. That's all I'll say.
It's too bad couldn't celebrate with him. But if he's listening to this episode or anybody that knows him, happy birthday to Jeff. Make sure you wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, with all the great service he's going to have in Bassett. So I mean,
yeah, so he can definitely answer all of your texts. Anyway, Carter, you know what? We can only go over so much. We do have another game tomorrow. Let's try or today, I guess, when this is out. Let's just try and will this Toronto Blue Jays team to a win. I mean, it is an afternoon game. It's going to be fun. I actually will be able to watch most of the game when I'm not having to sit in the studio. So that works out well for me. Anyway, Carter, I know I want to throw it over to our Locked On 24/7 streaming channel one time here. You can go watch that any time of the day. It's also on the Amazon Fire TV channels app. And yeah, it covers all your sports, the NHL free agency going on, NBA, probably same thing, I would assume. Your NBA, your MLB, your WNBA, which I know is in full force. I don't know if that's still going on. But I love to keep up to date with the Caitlin Clark stuff, so I know I'll be able to check that out there. And yeah, we'll be right back with sort of taking a look and see if the Blue Jays can get this split somehow. Today's episode of Locked On Blue Jays is brought to you by Booking.com. Yeah, with summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those U.S. cities you've always secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your rivals' cities with hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival's city. As like I said, I went down to New York. And it was a great time. It was awesome. And it's thanks to Booking.com because they helped us book that trip as well as when we went to Toronto. They do have some stuff in Canada as well. So if you guys want to check that out too. And then we're going down to Minneapolis at the end of the summer. And I will be using Booking.com for that. From hotels that look over stadiums to family-friendly resorts, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for summer travel this MLB season. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com, on the site, or in the Booking.com app. Today's episode also brought to you by Game Time. You guys know Game Time, one of my favorite apps on my phone. It is so easy to buy tickets for different events. I know when we go to baseball games, we go to hockey games during the winter, and Game Time is our number one go-to with their flash deals, their zone deals, their last minute deals that you can get up to like 60% off. It's nuts. They have so many good options. And as well, they have the view from your seat, which I always say is one of my favorite parts because I know exactly what my view will be when I get there. So I don't have to worry about people being in the way, of it being too crowded. How will I be able to get out of the seat if I want to go, grab a beer or two? So Game Time is the best bet for all of that. They also have the lowest price guaranteed. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Well, Carter, the boys need a split. They need the split. And at this point, I'm about saying that this doesn't matter. If they win or lose this game, it really doesn't have that much of an effect on what I take away from this series. And I think that's a brutal thing to have to say, but they need to start winning series. It's getting painful out here. And the good thing is we do have the Hound on the mound, Chris Bassett, going today against, who is it, Valdez, I think it's today as well. I think he is back. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. So it should be a very interesting match as Framber Valdez only has a 4.11 ERA, where Chris Bassett sits at a 3.24 so far this season. So we'll have to see, Carter. Afternoon game. I know you won't be able to watch it. I think you'll be at work. You might have to throw it on your phone. We got luckily we got the Sportsnet package through our television provider through my work, which is a great deal. And so we're able to sign in through our Sportsnet sort of wherever we are. So maybe, Carter, you have to do that tomorrow. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'll have to figure something out. I mean, I haven't been to work this week yet because we went to the cabin and someone just planted a bomb pretty much of what happened there. Just taking me out first, like I said, first sickness of 2024. So we made it to at least July here. So that counts for maybe one more through the rest of the year. I think I can handle that. But it's just kind of where I'm at with just how the Toronto Blue Jays played. Zach Pop can't field the slowest ground ball of all time, probably slower than a snail would actually move. Vladdy, I don't know. We didn't really talk about this. It's not really much to talk about. But Ernie Clement throws a ball to Vladdy. I think it was in the 7th inning, and he just dove at it. He got the out, but he just fell over on the screen. We're like, what's going on there? Then Ernie Clement just can't take a ball out of his glove either. I can't talk because that's just part of what's going on here. So everyone's going through their shortcomings here. I don't have my best performance on the Jays podcast, but hey, we're doing this a lot of times in the year. I don't have the exact number on it, but it's probably up there with it must be more than Toronto Blue Jays baseball games a year. So there you go.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I was just thinking we hit episode 100 a while back. I think that was what, a month ago, June 7th, I believe, pretty close to a month ago. And we started in January, end of January. So it's going to be interesting to see at the end of the year how many episodes we get through. Because I know I'm good buddies with Ross Levitan, the host of the Locked On Ottawa Senators podcast. And I think they just hit like episode like 1,000 or something. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, how do you get 1,000? But those guys have been doing it for a long, long time. Good on them. Yeah, Carter, I don't know, man. I'm sort of just praying for a win. That's how I go about my day. I wake up out of bed and I get on my knees and I just pray for a Toronto Blue Jays win. I got it. It's like everybody who goes to bed and does their prayers at the end of the night or whatever. I'm doing that, but just for the Toronto Blue Jays. So maybe you guys are with me. I don't know. I don't know what to expect at this point. I go into games expecting nothing and just hoping that they give me something. That's about where I'm at.
I mean, a positive is Chris Bassett's been ridiculous. He's probably the best pitcher on the Blue Jays in the last month and a half. Last 7 starts, a 1.71 ERA. Not a lot of earned runs given up either. So it would set up pretty well for the Toronto Blue Jays. But just looking at these lineups on paper right now, like the Astros have Alex Bregman, who's not hitting amazingly, but Jose Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, Yainer Diaz, like Jeremy Pang is hitting. Like they're getting production from the bottom of their lineup as well. Like Singleton had a double, I believe it was, in that big inning there in the it would have been the 6th, I believe. So there's just, and you look compared to the Blue Jays, like Jano's back for today's game. So I mean that's nice, I guess. You shouldn't have Brian Servant in the lineup, even though he had one of the Blue Jays' 5 hits today, or yesterday, as I should say. But yeah, you look at Vladdy, George Springer, I guess. Spencer Horwitz hasn't been hitting well. Like this doesn't even match up well on paper anymore. And then you got Framer Valdez, who is back, who's a guy that can shove, can be a very good pitcher, especially when he is healthy. It'll be interesting to see how it works out tomorrow. But yeah, you're going for another split and you're moving nowhere in the standings. So the best case scenario, I guess, is you're split. You lose another series. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but hopefully they can get it done. Hopefully they can put my disappointment to bed at least for a little bit, and we'll get a split here. It doesn't matter how it happens. I hope they can win baseball games, at least stay in contention for a little longer. Make the trade deadline a little bit more interesting. Maybe make it so we don't know exactly what they're going to do. But you look at the trade deadline. Are they going to pay for 5 bullpen arms? Are they going to pay for 6 guys that need to hit in this lineup? There's way too many holes on this Toronto Blue Jays team to fix it at the deadline. So it will be an interesting little stretch here to see who is moved, who isn't, maybe who the Toronto Blue Jays do get, who they don't, whatever that is. A lot of speculation, obviously, from our side. Just want to throw it over to one more time, the Locked On 24/7 streaming channel, Locked On Sports Today, or the Amazon Fire TV's channel app. Expert analysis on pretty much any sport you can think of on 24/7. Might as well take the opportunity to check it out. Hopefully, as well as the Toronto Blue Jays, I have my better stuff tomorrow because I felt like I was kind of battling this podcast. I have my sickness schedule is kind of a cycle. I start off with a sore throat, then it kind of get very congested, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm blowing my nose like crazy, and then the coughs come. When the coughs come, it's a good sign, though. We're starting to get close to there now. Usually, Braden's the one that's sick on this podcast, but dang, it's hitting me like a truck over this last week.
Dude, I hate to say it to you. With the morning shifts that I've had in the past couple weeks, and then going into next week when I host the Jets at Noon show on CJOB on Monday, the morning show is just always like it's like it just drags me down to hell. So that's where I might be next week. I'm praying to God that whatever you have, I don't somehow get. Just got a hilarious comment on one of our TikToks. I want to give him a shout out. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But so I'm just going to say what the comment is. It's hilarious. So I'm going to give it a little shout out. There's actually 2. There's one that says, I was there like in person. Oh God, with the emoji, like looking at the rolling eyes emoji. Hilarious. Loved it. And then the next one is, glad I didn't watch that game. I had my gold medal game for my baseball league, and the ump there was worse than Angel Hernandez. A little shot at Angel Hernandez to end the episode. Gotta love it. Just the comments you guys leave, honestly, make me laugh half the time. Sometimes, it's just ridiculousness. Don't get me wrong. Me and Carter sometimes look at each other and we're like, all right, who's taking this one to respond? But we love getting in the mud with you guys. We'll definitely keep doing that. And then some of the, the funnier, the better. Anytime you're going to take a shot at Angel Hernandez, I am there for it. Carter, I don't know what else to say, man. Everybody's, I've just had a good time doing this podcast with you so far. I've gotten a bunch of good tweets lately from people. Some of the fans that sort of listen to our podcast are just amazing. They are honestly the best. Some of the stuff that I see on Twitter from these guys is just insane, and it's might be my favorite time of day when I finish work and I open up Twitter for to look at some of my replies and whatnot. They're just unbelievable. So thank you guys for all the comments as usual. Carter's going to try to heal himself here. I don't know what he's going to have to do. He might have to go take like an Epsom salt bath or something. I don't even know. Leave him some cold remedies or something so we can get this guy over the hump.
See, and like if the Toronto Blue Jays actually went on a winning streak here, I might just have to be sick at all times. Like I might just go around like licking doorknobs and stuff. I would have like put my body on the line, but they're not even playing consistent baseball. So clearly I'm not fixed. Maybe you have to like, I don't know. People say break a leg to have a good competition. Maybe you need to just break your leg in the sake of the Toronto Blue Jays. They go on like a 15-game heater. I mean, I might just have to start breaking your legs. That's just something we got to do for this podcast. I let the Toronto Blue Jays ruin my day, and now that I don't like. I think I said this to you. I would pay $1 million just to not feel congested right now. And if I can do anything to help the Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, I'm going to do it. But it's definitely not my sickness playing into it. Hopefully they can find some healing as well and actually split a series against the Houston Astros before we do it out. Just want to say thank you guys one more time for likes, comments, subscriptions. All the support lately has been insane. We always appreciate it. But we will talk to you guys tomorrow, hopefully after a series split.